All right. Can everyone hear me? Just let me know if you can hear me okay. And yeah, while we wait for that, I'll just put on some music, I guess. Let's see with that. Okay. All right. Well, welcome to the stream. Welcome Matthew and welcome Andrew. Yeah, thanks for asking some questions. I look forward to answering them towards the later in the stream after I get through some other stuff. So yeah, well, yeah. All right. Just give it a few minutes, and then let's see here. All right. All right, I guess we'll get started with the business I have to talk about. All right, so let's see. So first up, I'm just going to kind of go over a rough schedule for the rest of the year for the channel, and then I will talk about some changes to the channel that are coming in 2025, and then it'll be the questions time. So all right, so first up, this isn't in a order per se, this is just some videos that I plan to do for this year. So obviously I will continue the coverage of the Clone Wars. I will probably cover Skeleton Crew, at least the first 2 episodes, or however many they're dropping. And I'll continue doing the book reviews of the EU and all that as I read them and that. And I will be doing the history of canceled Star Wars movies and TV shows. That video should be out in about a week or so. And then the Season 1 finale of Star Wars Alien Species, which is going to be on Wookiees. That will come out October 1st of this year. And then I'll do the top 10 shortest lived Star Wars alien species video. That should be out later this week. And to go with my video, What is a Jedi, I will be doing a video, What is a Sith? And in November, I will be doing an Attack of the Clones stream. So very similar to the Phantom Menace one that I did back in May. So it'll just be talking about Attack of the Clones, everything that has to do with that. So that'll be fun. And then sometime in December, I probably will do a review of the Star Wars Holiday Special and a top 10 Star Wars EU/Legends books that I've read this year, and a top 10 worst EU/Legends books video that I've read this year. So yeah, there's probably going to be other stuff, but that's all I've got planned right now. There might be a couple of video game reviews depending on if I can get Bounty Hunter done. Yeah, so all right, any questions on that stuff? Yeah, so definitely sounds interesting. I look forward to those videos. So yeah. questions, so we will move on to the changes to the channel in 2025. All right. So first thing is I will be getting a new banner and logo for the new year, one that I want, because if you look right now, this isn't well, I guess it's technically a walrus, but yeah, I want it to have tusks, and I want it to be a little bit more of a dynamic pose. You know, I mean, for those of you that do not know, that this logo, I basically used AI to work it out, but with the new banner and logo and all that stuff, I will find an artist and yeah, get something looking really nice for the new year. And yeah, so the channel will have a new look in the new year. I'm also going to be starting a Patreon in the new year, so for those people that would like to support the channel monetarily, they will have that option. I will also be doing merch in the new year. I don't know if that'll be like in January, if that'll be later. It's undecided, but yeah, like sometime next year I'll do some merch. And yeah, so if you have any ideas that you would like to see, you're more than welcome to share them in the comments, or you know, send them to the email for the channel, you know, thewalrusjedi@gmail.com, or you can put it on Twitter if you want. That's the Walrus Jedi on Twitter, or X if you want to call it that. So yeah, any cool designs that you'd like, yeah. And I will be doing a new schedule for the channel, which will be 2 videos a week, and this will again go into effect at the new year. So yeah, 2 videos a week, and if everything can go according to plan, probably a stream every other week. Yeah, right now I'm trying to do one every month, but you know, some months I've missed, but yeah, so yeah. So in the new year, hopefully I can stream every other week, maybe every week, but that's probably not going to happen. So yes. And for those of you that do not know, I do have a gaming channel, Walrus Jedi Gaming. I really haven't done a whole lot on it. Obviously, I want to change that. So in the new year, I'm going to try and do 1 video on that a week. So, and I might do some streams on that channel. It just depends. So if there's any, like, if you have any cool ideas for games to play on that channel, go ahead and let me know. It doesn't have to be a Star Wars game. It could just be any game. That's just a channel to play games on. So have fun and all that stuff. So yeah, well, yeah, that's all that stuff. So do we have any more questions about that stuff? All right, a few questions, and thank you for putting questions down. That's very generous. So yeah, I guess we could get into the Q&A right now. So first question that we have comes from Matthew. It says, what do you appreciate the most about the Star Wars EU? Oh, what I appreciate most about the EU is probably just that it expands upon the movies. There's, you know, if there's a character that you really like from the movies, there might be a short story or even a book, maybe a comic that you could read, or a video game to play that explores that character, you know, like Jango Fett, for example. I always thought he was really cool in Attack of the Clones, and you know, that, I mean, they've done some comics for Jango Fett, so they delve his backstory. There's a video game, Star Wars Bounty Hunter. All that stuff is great, and it really expands upon the character and makes him a fantastic character. And there's loads of characters that have been expanded, so that's awesome. I like the post Return of the Jedi stories, but also the prequel games, books, and comics. Yeah, it's pretty good. Post Return of the Jedi is pretty good. I can see why people would pick that as their like favorite EU era, because, well, it's got a lot of stuff, and it explores, Han, Luke, and Leia after Return of the Jedi. So yeah, and it introduces fantastic new characters like, Corran Horn and all that stuff. So yeah, I haven't got to like New Jedi Order and that yet, but yep, that's a good era. And prequel games, books. Oh yeah, it's all good stuff. All right, thanks for the question, Matthew. Next question comes from Andrew. When was your first introduction to the EU? Let's see. That would have been probably the Genndy Tartakovsky 2003 2D Clone Wars, I believe. That's the first thing that I would say was EU. Was that, and then probably, and then it's TCW if you count that. Technically, I think it does count as EU, but yeah. And then as for books, the very first EU book I read was the that book series that follows Boba Fett, like young Boba Fett. I think they're like middle grade, or yeah, they're for younger kids. Read those; they're pretty good. And then like my first proper EU novel would have been was it Plagueis or Darth Bane? Anyways, it's either Plagueis or Darth Bane, so that's kind of my thing into that. So yeah, thanks for the question. Next is another question from Matthew. What is your favorite Star Wars of the 6 movies and why? Favorite character? Oh, my favorite movie, Revenge of the Sith. That's easy. Every time I watch that movie, I just like it more, and it's just awesome. The music, well, the music for all 6 are fantastic, but for that one in particular, you've got some good stuff. Anakin's dark deeds, just all that stuff, all the cool scenes. Kashyyyk, which is cool. It's cool to see Kashyyyk, where Chewbacca's from. It's a cool planet. And then we even get to see like Felucia, a very alien world. And yeah, the lightsaber fights in this movie are fantastic. You've got Yoda versus Palpatine, which is awesome. It's in the the Senate room, and that's interesting how they're throwing around the seats, I guess you could call them. But yeah, that's interesting. And then obviously you've got Anakin versus Obi-Wan on Mustafar. I mean, that's easily a candidate for top lightsaber fight. I mean, it depends. I guess it's your preference. Do you prefer that, or do you prefer Maul, Obi-Wan, and Qui-Gon Jinn's duel, or do you prefer Luke versus Vader in Empire or Return of the Jedi? I mean, yeah. Personally, I probably would put. It's close between Obi-Wan versus Anakin or the Maul and Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan duel. So yeah. And as for favorite character, favorite characters probably. Ooh, this is hard. Who's my all-time favorite character? Is it Luke, or is it? I don't know. I don't know who my favorite character is, but I'll just give you a few. I like Luke, Obi-Wan, Yoda, Darth Vader, Maul. Count Dooku, Palpatine. Yeah, I really like Jango Fett. I'm a really big fan of Jango Fett. I like Jango Fett over Boba Fett. So there's that. So yeah. And if you want like a specific like EU character, I really like Corran Horn actually. He's a character that I've really enjoyed reading about in the X-Wing novels. So I don't know if I would put him as my favorite EU character, but he's definitely up there. So thanks for the question. Next is sorry. Let's see, we got another one from Andrew Helm. Do you read any of the canon novels? I would say I've read some canon novels. I've read the Canon Thrawn books, all 6 of them. I have read the Aftermath trilogy. I've read the Tarkin novel and the Rogue One Catalyst novel by James Luceno, and Master and Apprentice, and then Brotherhood. Those are the canon stuff that I've read. I might be forgetting one or two, but yeah, I like the Thrawn stuff, but it's been a while since I've read it, so I should reread it to see, like, do I still enjoy it. Aftermath, I thought was kind of garbage. Master and Apprentice I thought was decent. Brotherhood sucked, and I'm done bothering with reading the Disney canon novels. I think they're a waste of time. The most recent one that I tried to read was the Living Force, I think it's called, by John Jackson Miller, and I got like maybe 100 pages through that, and I was like, I'm done. I couldn't finish it, so I wrapped it up. So yeah, I just, for the most part, they just haven't been that great, and plus, like, the shows will retcon it if they need to go over that content again. So they basically don't matter to the grand story. They're basically just a placeholder for the lore till a movie or a TV show covers that exact same moment, and then the movie or TV show will take precedence. So they're kind of a waste of time. So yeah, thanks for the question. Matthew asks, I want to know more about the Star Wars Underworld. Because I am a fan of the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles, and I wonder if it would be like that collaborative process. Are you talking about the TV show? If you're talking about I think you are. Yeah, I've recently done some research into that for that video, canceled movies and TV shows for Star Wars, and I'll be honest, I wish it would have been made, because I think it would have been a very interesting show, delving into the Coruscant underworld and just exploring that, because, you know, Coruscant is a big planet. You know, there's trillions of people that live on it, and the underworld, you know, like, all sorts of stories could take place there, and it just would be very interesting. So yeah, I agree. It's a shame that they didn't get to make that show in some form. They could make it now, but again, like, I don't want Disney Star Wars to touch anything of that. That'll be good. So yeah. All right. Matthew asks, Open Seasons is excellent for Django. I've heard that. I'm looking forward to reading that comic when I get there. Let's see, I'm starting to appreciate episode 2. Oh yeah, I can't wait to do the live stream in November about Attack of the Clones. I'm looking forward to it, you know, watching all the deleted scenes and the behind the scenes stuff, you know, the making of, all that documentary stuff. Yeah, it's great stuff. You know, yes, it has its flaws, but you know, it's also got some really cool, awesome moments in it. So definitely, I feel like an underrated one of the more underrated movies of the 6. All right, I tried reading the Ahsoka novel, couldn't get into it. Oh, yeah. I feel like now, since they've retconned most of that novel, what's the point in reading that? You know, because with the stuff in season 7 of Clone Wars, they kind of erased the bits in the book about where Ahsoka and Maul are fighting, and then in Tales of the Jedi with the Ahsoka episodes, they kind of ruined the other part of the book, at least somewhat, as far as I can tell. Maybe I'm completely wrong, but yeah, so I just feel like there's no point in reading that book now. That it doesn't matter. And Matthew said the unmade TV series. Yep. All right. Yeah, it would have been such a cool series to make. So, all right. Been an interesting little session of talking. Yeah, very interesting questions. Thank you all for asking any questions. So yeah, we'll just chill here for a few more minutes, waiting for some more questions, and yeah, we'll go from there. All right. I'll ask a question while we're waiting for some questions to come in. So yeah, like, do any of you watching, are you just EU fans, or do you pay attention to the Disney Star Wars stuff as well? Because I feel like, you know, a lot of EU fans, they're really only fans of the EU. Like, they may have been into the Disney Star Wars stuff, but you know, the Disney Star Wars stuff just is, yeah. I mean, I feel like with each passing year, I become less and less interested in the Disney Star Wars stuff, because yeah, I mean, with the Acolyte, that show was complete garbage. Again, like books, I'm done bothering with the books. The comics are a huge joke. They're garbage. They're even worse than the books, from my experience with them. So yeah, the TV shows, I don't know. I enjoyed season 7 of Clone Wars. The Dooku stuff of Tales of the Jedi I enjoyed. Tales of the Empire was more just, oh, it was cool to see General Grievous. It was cool to see Darth Vader. Other than that, I thought Tales of the Empire sucked. Yeah. Used to be a fan of The Mandalorian, but then season 3 happened, and yeah. Oh, is anybody excited for the Mando and Grogu movie coming out in a couple years? Oh boy, I can't wait for that. Alright, let's see. Matthew says, should Disney continue the EU as a separate timeline? Heck yeah. Even if it was just a few novels and maybe a comic book series a year, I think, yes, they should continue it. And but yes, definitely keep it separate. Do not tie it into the crap they're doing now. Just keep it as a separate little alternative to, and that way they would make some money, because there are loads of fans of, you know, the EU. And I actually think, you know, even if it was, you know, maybe about 3 novels a year and maybe a comic book series, I think that's pretty good. You know, it would get some kind of continuation, which I think would be fantastic. Matthew says, I'm a fan of Star Wars in general, but Last Jedi was like a gut punch, so I went back to George-era Star Wars. Lots of people did, yeah. Yeah, The Last Jedi, I don't know. The movie was, yeah, I don't know. I mean, when I walked out of the theater, I was like, oh, I think I enjoyed that movie. But then, you know, you think about it, it's like, well, I didn't like the Canto Bight stuff. I really didn't like Luke in the movie. Didn't feel like Luke Skywalker. I don't know, it's killing off Snoke was definitely shocking and surprising, but then what are they going to do for the next movie? So yeah, like, I think back in 2017, walking out of the theater, I think I wanted to like it because, you know, I like Star Wars. But yeah, so I guess I kind of fooled myself into thinking, yeah, you like this movie. But then obviously the more you think about it, the more it's like, this movie really isn't that good. I didn't really like any of it. I mean, the stuff with Poe and Admiral Holdo, like, you're rooting for Poe, because Holdo basically she doesn't share any plans with anybody. She's keeping it all secret. And of course, to Poe, she's basically just sitting around doing nothing. So Poe's gonna react in a way that I feel like a lot of people would, because she's just sitting around telling nobody. And then of course, you know, oh, he wasn't supposed to do that because she actually has this grand plan and all that. So yeah, it's just not a very good movie. Not a very good movie. So, but we're not here talking about the sequel trilogy. Andrew says, I'm primarily an EU fan. I gave Disney Wars a try. It got rapidly worse as it went on. I'm done. Yeah, I don't blame you. I feel like I've given it a very, very generous try. Because I've watched, I think I've watched all the shows. I've even watched Star Wars Resistance. Okay, that show is garbage. It's not very good. But I watched it, and I watched all of it. So, yeah, I don't recommend it. Yeah, I mean, there's some okay stuff, like, I did enjoy Mando in the beginning. I guess, I don't know. Yeah. Let's see. I'm so not looking forward to the Mando and Baby Yoda movie. Yeah, like, who is? Yeah, because to me, like, the whole Grogu thing, or Baby Yoda if you prefer, he doesn't do very much. He just exists to be cute. And I feel like they've way overdone the merchandise with Grogu. The people that want some stuffed animal Grogu or whatever, I feel like they have it. To me, in the movie, like, if you want to sell more Grogu merchandise, he needs to develop somehow. He needs to do something. He can't just stay in the potato sack and just fart around to be cute all day. Like, he needs to do things. So yeah, but yeah, like, after season 3, like, who cares about this movie? Like, season 3 was garbage, so we're gonna continue garbage? Maybe not, I don't know. So yeah. Matthew says, I liked the sequel until I realized they killed everybody off except Lando and Chewie and R2 and 3PO. The Rise of Skywalker ended up in the same place at the end of... Yes, it did. Rise of Skywalker is basically... The ending is very, very similar to Return of the Jedi, but worse. I mean, it even has, like, a few planet shots of people celebrating and all that stuff. It's very repetitive and just not done as well. So yeah, and yeah, they kill all our favorite characters except Lando, Chewie, and the droids. And no offense to those characters, but those are probably the characters that I would have preferred to die over Han, Luke, and Leia, just because I like Han, Luke, and Leia more than those 4 characters. But we don't need to kill off every single character that has any meaning to Star Wars. So yeah, why couldn't we have lost one of the newer characters? Have it be a little balanced. But oh well. I do like the novel for Last Jedi and Shadow of the Sith. Rise of Kylo Ren was decent, but I'm not a Disney Star Wars fan. Okay. I haven't read any of the novelizations for the sequel trilogy. Yeah, Shadow of the Sith. I've heard little bits and pieces about that. That's the one where, like, Luke is fighting, I don't know, a Sith guy, and, like, doesn't Force Ghost Anakin help him somehow, or isn't there a scene between the Luke and Anakin in that book? That, to me, that's the only part that sounded kind of interesting. Rise of Kylo Ren, that's a comic, right? It's about, like, is that the one where, like, it shows him burning down the Jedi Temple and him joining Snoke and all that? Is that what that is? We should have lost Rey Palpatine. Yep, and she's Rey Palpatine, not Skywalker. You can't just say I'm a Skywalker just cause. That's stupid. And I think it's much more interesting if she owns that she's a Palpatine and she tries to turn the name Palpatine into something good rather than hide from it. So, yeah. And they're doing Luke in the Jakku War trilogy now in comics, like 10 years too late. Oh yeah, I heard that. Saw that they're doing Battle of Jakku and all that stuff in the comics. Yeah, well, what I've read of the comics, I thought were trash. I got tired of all the stupid, pointless adventures they would go on. Let's see, what would I say is the best comics I read? Probably the some of that Darth Vader stuff. The one that's set between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. Basically, an early Darth Vader. That was probably the stuff I enjoyed the most, comic book wise, the Disney stuff. Luke with green lightsaber and black cloak, the Luke we wanted. Oh yeah. Way too late. Way too late. Man. What a shame. I much preferred the old Marvel comics of Star Wars. I haven't read them. I have not read them. Eventually, next year I plan on starting my coverage of the comics, delving into that. Although it will be it'll be the early stuff in terms of, like, you know, stuff that takes place in Star Wars, like, you know, thousands of years into the past, you know, Tales of the Jedi and the Old Republic and all that stuff. Because yeah, next year I kind of want to do like a deep dive into the Old Republic just in general. So all the short stories, comics, books, video game stuff, all that stuff. You know, I just want to delve deep. I've you know, read some Old Republic stuff and all that, but yeah, I just want to do a deep dive into the Old Republic because I kind of miss exploring it. I enjoy that era. So yeah, that's what those are kind of my plans for the comics. But obviously I'll eventually get to, you know, the original Marvel years of Star Wars. My favorite arc of those beyond the movie adaptations was Lumia, Dark Lady of the Sith. The stuff like those little alien guys is weird though. Yeah, I've heard it's got some weird things in it, but also some cool stuff. So, yeah. You know, and it's probably a product of, you know, the 70s, you know, when it was written. Kind of like Star Wars is a product of the 70s, you know, when it came out. So, yeah, but, you know, it's probably got some weird stuff in it. Be very interesting to read that when I get there. So, yeah. All right. This has been a very interesting little conversation. All right. Any other questions to have before? Let's see. First 10 issues are good. But Chaykin, not the biggest fan of Jackson the Bunny, though when he comes on. First 10 issues are good, but Chaykin, not the biggest fan of Jackson. That's the Green Rabbit guy. I know who that is. Well, I mean, what kind of character is he? Like a goofy character, or is he like a capable, more serious character, or is he? Yeah, like what kind of character is he? Because if he's, I don't know, if he's goofy, like, I don't know. But yeah. First 10 issues, okay, good. But yeah, and there's like over 100 issues of that, so yeah, be interesting. Han Solo as a bunny. Oh. Okay. That's interesting, I guess. Guess you could say that. I don't know if we needed that, but okay. Okay. We'll see. Definitely an interesting premise. The Archie Goodwin and Dave Michelini years were the best. The Joe Duffy era was when it started to get weird. Is the Joe Duffy era like the last chunk of it, or is that like a middle part, and the Archie Goodwin and David Michelini years are like the beginning of it? I'm just wondering. But Infantino did a bunch. I like Al Williamson. Yes, the last chunk of it. Okay, so basically what you're saying is that the original Marvel years of the Star Wars comic, they taper off towards the end. The end is kind of weak. Well, it's probably still better than some crap that Disney Star Wars has made. Even if it is a little weird or goofy. Sometimes, well, I think I'd rather have weird or goofy than just downright bad or awful. So, yeah. Alright, well, look forward to reading that then. And I feel like I've read so much EU stuff, but man, there's just still so much that I haven't gotten into. I'm not almost done. I'm probably 2/3 of the way through the novels, I think, something like that. And I've got thousands of comics, I think. The Hiromi are weird, but the blue alien chicks came back in Legacy. Okay. Blue alien chicks. Interesting. True, much better than the Disney stuff. Yep. Well. Alright. Just a few more minutes for a couple. Is there any last minute questions you'd like to ask, or yeah? Well, we'll give it a couple more minutes for any more questions to pop in, and then Zeltron. I thought Zeltron were pink. Are they blue? Oh, they're not blue. Are they blue early on? But yeah, I've heard of Zeltron before. Okay, interesting. All right, yeah. So, like I was saying, any last minute questions before I go? Now's your time to ask, and it doesn't have to be Star Wars related if you can't think of anything. We'll answer a Marvel question or something, whatever. Whatever you want to ask. Yes, the Zeltrons were pink. Yep. Pink people. Pink people. Pretty interesting. Pink, purple, whatever the comics are, all over the place. Yeah, that's true. Those Marvel comics have some weird coloring. That's true. All right. Well, this has been a fun little stream. Hopefully you learned some stuff about the channel, and hopefully there's some stuff coming out in the next couple months that you're excited about. I know some of that stuff, some of those videos I'm really excited to make. That Attack of the Clones stream in November. It's fun to do the Phantom Menace one, so can't wait to do it again. So yeah. All right. Well, there isn't any other pressing questions. I think it'll be time to leave. So, but I'll give, I'll wait another minute, and if there's, if we go another minute without any questions, I will end the stream. So, oh, you're looking forward to more TCW reviews. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying them. Glad you're enjoying them. That's good. It's interesting to review the TCW because I've seen it all the way through a few times, like 3 or 4 times, and now I'm kind of looking at it through a different lens, where it's like, there's still some really great episodes, but I'm also noticing more flaws with it. So yeah, but I would still say for the most part I still enjoy it. It does have its issues, but still got some great stuff to watch and to talk about. So all right, anything else? I'll wait another minute. Yeah, so hopefully you've enjoyed this little stream. It's been pretty fun to sit here and talk a little bit, and yeah, so I'm looking forward to the future of the channel. I'm still planning on making this, keep doing this, and hopefully I'm able to stream more, because it is fun. It is fun. It is pretty fun. So all right, well, I think I'll call it there. So thanks for watching, everyone. Thank you, Matthew and Andrew, for asking questions. Hold on, Andrew put they're separate mediums. I appreciate both TCW and the EU. Sure, I think if you kind of separate them, yeah, I think you can enjoy them both. I think TCW has a lot of contradictions for the EU that make it very difficult to put it in there. So, but yeah, they both have good stuff in it, and they both have some, weaknesses. But yeah, both enjoyable to some degree. So yeah, well, thanks for watching. Thanks for commenting, Matthew and Andrew. And yeah, thanks for everyone that watched. And yeah, until next time, thanks for watching. Goodbye. Oh, got one little question. I had a problem connecting the EU to Mortis, but it's too short a stream to get into that. Well, maybe I'll do a live stream talking about Clone Wars after I've watched it all. So, all right. Yep, you're welcome, Andrew. All right, now I will say goodbye. Thanks for watching.